I also, upon looking at everyone be mad over the Hitman 3 Epic Game Store stuff, I don't know if we covered that at all,
Nope.
but that's been actual fucking mess.
I
That
didn't.
has
I
been
didn't.
the worst.
I'm not too up on the story. I know that it came out, and my friend told me that it's very good and that he has fun playing the Hitman 3. But
Hmm.
beyond that, I don't really know what's going on.
So the IO Interactive does this thing where the games they make are incredible, but the the stuff around how you actually play it is the worst ever.
Mm.
So they have this cool system where if you bought Hitman 1 or Hitman 2, you can transfer your progress from Hitman 1 to Hitman 2, and then the Hitman 1 levels become playable in the Hitman 2 engine. So it becomes like a super game. And then for Hitman 3, you can transfer your progress and your levels into Hitman 3 and play them in the new engine, right?
Okay.
That seems really cool. Except now that it's Epic Game Store exclusive and Hitman 2 never came out on the Epic Game Store, they're like, well, your progress can transfer over, but you'll have to rebuy Hitman 2 on EGS to have your levels transfer over. And everyone's like, but you're using our account to sync our progress. Can't you literally just see that we own the game? And it's a complicated situation because I think they're self-publishing the third one, but I think they had different publishers for the first one and the
Oh
second one.
man.
So on top of all of that, Steam players will have to wait till next year if they want to play it on Steam. And if I transfer my save, if I bought Hitman 3 and then did all that crap and then transferred my shit to Hitman 3, I don't know if I can then transfer that Hitman 3 save to the Steam version of Hitman 3 later.
Okay.
Like also if you're playing Hitman 3 because it's constantly tracking your progress and your leaderboards, it's always online and the save files are split between online and not online, and the fucking servers are dying because they waited to the last moment to turn the transfer on at all.
Man, like the fact that the Epic Game Store is still doing its thing and still just annoying the shit out of people is so weird because it's like I think Hades is a perfect example of seeing a game come out for not Steam and it sat there and then people only gave a fuck once it left the EGS. Like the entire success and virality of that game was dependent on its freedom.
It's kind of wild because the average, like, you know how people will go, um oh, I'll just wait for the Steam release or whatever, right? Or oh, so it'll really come out for PC in a year. Like, I anticipated that that was like the die-hard super hardcores, right? Like the kind of people that you and I follow on Twitter that are just tapped in, right?
Sure, yeah.
But the Hades thing really shows like no, like literally no one was talking about Hades until it hit Steam. It's
Nothing.
like the game didn't exist.
Yeah, it gave me the weirdest feeling when fucking like everyone got really excited by it and like I was like but this has been here the whole time. What are we doing? You know? Like it was so fucking just like
Um,
uh,
so IO Interactive came out and they said, "Hey guys, we realize this is a fucky wucky. We're gonna fix it. Don't worry, you'll never have to rebuy anything." They did this after people got very mad and were like, "We'll never buy the game anywhere ever again," kind of thing. And then they're like, "Don't worry, we'll have a solution." Well, the game's been out for over a week now, and there's still no news on their solution, right?
yeah.
Um,
And I guess
uh,
they have so much money, they can afford to just keep doing this and keeping that like alternate storefront alive and whatever. And again, I don't think anyone would be that we'd be talking shit about it if it fucking worked properly, you know. but
It
it just
like Epic
continues
Game
to.
Store's obviously a part of this, and it's awful again. But like really, IO Interactive, like the first two Hitman games, also had similar problems because they decided to have this weird online infrastructure that no one cares about. But like combining that
Mhm.
with the Epic Game Store has led to an actual mess. Like it's a fucking mess. So I actually decided I own Hitman 1 and 2, but I'd never played them. It was one of those things where I'm like, oh, I never really got around to it, though these games are excellent, right? So I've
Mhm.
been playing Hitman 1 in the Hitman 2 engine, and I spent literally all week playing one level because that's how
Hmm.
good these Hitman games are. They are so good. And I know you have a history with Hitman.
Yeah, yeah, it's
I've
a good ass
I've
franchise.
I've played the
For the most part,
I've played this. Yeah, there's some man. Those games are either incredible or just complete trash.
Unplayable shit.
There's
There's
no in
no in
between.
between.
It's so wild. Like Hitman 1 and 2 are classics, but one's a little old. Contracts is kind of trash. Blood Money's one of the best games I've ever played. Absolution is one of the worst games of that generation. Like
No
it's
fucking.
crazy.
Yep, one or the other. And the sniper missions were great.
Yeah, it's wild. So this is some of the good ones. But because they decided on the very first of the Hitman things to do like an episodic thing where they'd only put out like one level a month or one level every 2 months or whatever. Um, these are like the biggest, most complicated levels ever. Like there's
Yeah.
absolutely no question.
So I remember early on when we first got we finished off testing Absolution, and then the next project started, and it was the new Hitman series, and they did like they were releasing it stage by stage, one by one type of thing.
Yeah,
And like each level, like the reason and we were like, this sounds like a really bad idea for releasing this game. Why would you do it this way? And it's like, because each level is like a full fucking season of development put into it, you know. And I was like, oh shit, okay, I see how they're doing this now. Like the idea is just to make it more and more of a playground, you know, and build on that like replayability idea where there's like a million little things you can find and do,
I mean,
um
I
which
did
makes
the
sense now.
tutorial, the two tutorial levels, right? And like the Paris level, like to my level of completion, which was like 100% the tutorials and get mastery 20 on the Paris one, and now
Mm-hmm.
I'm at 17 hours. Like that's a whole game off of what is essentially like their first release.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Yeah, I
it's
mean
it's
they
absolutely
fucking
fucking
they
crazy.
learned. That's one thing they learned how to make it, how to make the good thing, you know. And then like it seems like from those early ones they just kind of went like, okay, keep doing this, keep making playground missions, you know. Um,
So
but
I'm
that
excited
back end
to
shit sounds
eventually
fucking
get
terrible.
to 3 in a year at
Yeah,
this current rate of
right.
progress. Game's great. I feel like the online thing is a total blight. Like it is a like I understand what they're doing. They want to have like a leaderboard thing, and they want to have their elusive target thing. Do you know about the elusive targets?
Elusive targets existed in the one what I worked on too. Yeah, yeah. That was a
Yeah.
thing.
So to those of you who don't know, they were like these fancy targets that assumed you would have total mastery of the level, and they would just dump them into an existing level, and you had like 3 days, and you could only kill them once. And if you failed, you just failed. Um, and that's cool. But like if for example, people playing Hitman 3 right now, the game disconnects from its servers a lot, and they never fully disconnect. But they do that shit where they're like retry, so you get onto the server, and we'll add like 30-second delays and cutscenes or shit like that. And it has no value add at all. Like there's no benefit at all, other than I guess their metrics or whatever. and the reason I bring this up is normally it would just be like a downer, but like the pirated version of the game is dramatically superior.
Oh, that sucks.
The pirated version of Hitman 3
Oh
has
man,
all the levels with all the unlocks, and
and
all the
none of that
elusive targets
bullshit.
are available all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's.
it never breaks its connection to the server.
Oh no. Oh
And
boy.
it's like it is a way better product. To the point where if you bought all of it, like I wouldn't even bat an eyelash if you said, "Yeah, I bought all of them on Steam or whatever," and then I went and downloaded the
Hmm.
pirated version.
See, well, that's where like Steam Workshop should come into play. You know, like just allow people to fucking mod safely through the workshop, and do that because otherwise they're gonna find a way anyways, and you know probably do it
Like
in a way that you're not gonna like it.
I looked at somebody sent me like this guy who does speed runs, and I got a look into like what's speed running like in the new Hitman series,
Hmm.
and I'm like the speed run attempts can be ruined by the server at random.
Because of the extra time. Yeah, right.
Also,
Okay.
there also appears to be server side validation on updating whether or not you beat certain challenges.
I mean,
So
yeah, like so they were Absolution was a fucking super metric heavy game back when we were doing it, but I thought a lot of that was based on Square interest, because that's what they were rolling out with most of the projects at the time. Now that they're on their own, I guess they liked the idea and just kept going in on it.
yeah, it's like people. I saw people talking about how like when Hitman 2 came out, they wanted to transfer their progress over, but since they had used online save files, their progress didn't count.
Hmm.
And it's like, and what's weird is like if these games were like completely released separately as separate games, and the ability to turn them into one big super game didn't exist, none of that would matter. So like they've given you enough value on these features to be hurt by them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's
It,
it's
it,
not at all the same thing, but it's similar. I had an experience because I popped back in Dragon Ball Fighters last week, and was just
mhm.
messing around and just going in training mode, trying out new characters, seeing what's going on, and like the decision to break the user interface into, or not user interface, but the main menu. The first decision that you make after pressing start is online or offline, and then you go through the same game, but one of them is loads and just plays normally, and the other constantly has to do server checks every time you do something, and just takes a while to move places and do things. And it's like all of this just so that you can walk around the little fucking you know lobby, persistent lobby with other people, and go to training mode or go to arcade mode or go to whatever mode, while having all these people around you where you can just kind of pick fights and stuff. But like
There's
this gating, not but like gating that off to a place where people can go specifically for that doesn't reduce the experience at all. It just makes it worse for people who are not interested in that, who have to go, who have to go online, because there's things where like you have to be online to use a certain shop, for example, or whatever. So it's just weird to make it all in or all out, as opposed to put the features over here and go there when you're ready.
there's clearly like an entire genre of developer, and I mean like the individual
Yeah,
inside a studio
yeah.
that is like obsessed with every form of online integration.
Connectivity. Hmm.
And like I don't did you see the Guilty Gear trailer that came out like this morning or last night?
Yeah, it's on the docket, the modes feature,
Okay,
the new
because
modes. Hmm.
I feel like mentioning it now because it dovetails right in. Like they show off this massive explanation of the lobby, and like look at all these cool new features, and I'm staring at it. I'm like, this looks like the worst shit I have ever seen. And then
Well,
at the end, they go, Well, if you really want to just get into a match, we have normal human being matchmaking where you hit the button and wait
Mhm.
for a match. And
Mhm.
I'm like, oh my, thank someone, someone,
Yeah.
someone on the team was trying to play something internally and got so mad
Yeah.
that they like screamed at somebody until they put the fucking just matchmake me button
And
into the fucking game.
I bet you I know who that individual was, but
Oh yeah. Oh.
but regardless, I also, but no, part of it is actually the fact that the features as advertised would be fine, but when they were in the playable demo, they weren't working at all. The little
It just didn't
avatar
work at
walking
all.
around picking fights thing wasn't fucking working, you know? And so it's just like this is like this would be like an extra step, but ultimately fine, providing it does what you it says it does. But like all of that ends up being completely extra frustrating when it's obfuscated and then doesn't function, which is what happened in the demo. You know,
Looks like a
um,
guy pulling up to your house with like a fancy car, uh, and like fancy rims and like a lowrider. And it's like, man, check out my car. Isn't it crazy? You're like, cool. Okay, let's go somewhere. He's like, it doesn't drive. I got to get a truck to tow me to where I just leave the car.
so what's
Yeah,
weird is
these
that
these.
it's similar to Dragon Ball in that like when Dragon Ball first rolled out the like ring challenge things where again you can walk up to anybody standing on the platform and pick a fight with them, like um you kind of you ran into a bunch of problems where like you'd try to start a round or try to start a match but then it wouldn't work, and like um and it just seemed like this next level of the usual Arxis lobby, which traditionally works great when you sit at a cabinet. For some reason, the games where you sit at a cabinet, like Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear and
And Ultimax.
Grand Blue, Ultimax, all of those games where you walk up to a room and you sit at a cabinet, like it just didn't have that issue. But in Dragon Ball's case, and at least initially, and then in the beta's case for Strive, picking fights in out of the blue with random people you're walking by, just it didn't know what to do, you know. Yeah, thankfully you can just go through menus and ignore all of that shit and just go like find match play, you know.
Or
So
just play in training mode. And but
hit
it's
search.
just
Yep.
it's crazy. I'm playing this game and I'm having a great time, and I personally haven't run into a single problem with it. But the online thing is always there, hovering, just waiting to break. Just waiting to break and like steal a win from me, right? Like I've had moments where even in Hitman 1, which seems to be running on a different, server thing than the new one, where I'll shoot a guy and then I'll be like, yeah, and I'm about to leave and it goes reconnecting to server and I'll wait for 30 seconds. It's only happened twice, but
Mm.
each time I'm like, oh, don't you motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you fucking dare. That was such a fucking pain in the ass mission to do. Yeah, I
The
did it so good.
the particular time of the season when uh, For Honor host migration would occur in the middle of a match, and it would just be like, "What's happening? Oh, the host dropped. It's picking another host. The whole game has to try to carry over. Oh my god, oh god, we're just stuck. Okay, now someone got tired and just quit. It's fucked. The whole match is fucked. Nothing happened. Waste of
I
time.
think
Sorry, folks.
that might be the second worst integration
Hmm.
of host stuff I've ever
They
played.
fixed it.
Because everybody
They did fix it. You know,
because
but
everybody remembers
initially,
like Gears of War, right? Gears of War, like host advantage was extreme. It was like it was unbelievable. Like the
mm,
host had like bullets that would travel twice as fast as non-hosts. It was
mm-hmm,
out of
mm-hmm,
control.
mm-hmm.
And that would be like the Gears of War 1 would be my third worst integration of host thing. Number 2 would be
Did
Number
they
two
ever
would
fix
be.
that for one, or did it just become server
Oh
side in two?
fuck no. They put it server side for 3.
Oh my god. Okay.
I was
Yeah.
never able to play a single match of Gears of War 2 multiplayer once. Their online was so
Wow.
fucked up that I was not able to connect to a single person ever, despite playing hundreds of hours of Gears of War 1 multiplayer. Pissed me off so bad. The worst ever, the absolute worst ever host migration I have ever played is Warframes. There is no comparison. There is absolutely no comparison ever.
Still or
Because
or before?
ever, still,
Oh my
to this
god.
day.
Okay.
When the host so it's a 4-player, loot game,
Mhm.
multiplayer,
Mhm.
you're grinding.
PVE.
So you'll be doing, say, Wooly, you'll be the host, and I'll play, and there'll be 2 other people with us, right? And we're gonna do the way Warframe doles out its loot is you essentially get like a chest that you can open later. It's called a relic, and the rewards go as such: A, B, C, C. So the way that works is the first 5 waves will reward you the A loot pool. The second 5 waves will give you the B loot pool. Then C, C for 10, for 15 and 20, right?
Hmm.
Or is it A, A, B, C?
Sure. Whatever.
Oh, it's AABC. My bad. So you're doing 20 waves of defense to get a drop in the C loot pool, right? 20 waves, and on wave 19, Wooly, you disconnect. Okay, well you were the host. It'll host migrate. There is a 50% chance that the host migration will fail,
As
and we won't
always.
even keep the items we already dropped.
Oh.
Hey, do you remember you got you
Oh.
remember you got the relics from the 5 waves, the 10 waves, and the 15 waves?
Oh boy.
Well, the host migration failed. You're just kicked back to the orbiter, and you got 0 for that mission.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So that.
people will people will run way longer than 20 waves. By the way, people will run 40,
Oh yeah,
60,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
80,
yeah, yeah.
100
I can
waves.
imagine. I can imagine. So that is so bad that like I'm just thinking categorization wise, like there's some you would always bump up anything when you're flagging a bug that like or an issue that results in loss of progress. Loss of progress
Mhm.
is fucking golden. It's a humongous thing because it's detrimental to the game experience, and that would 100% be considered loss of progress if 20 minutes later you didn't get the thing you got. Oh
It,
my
in
god.
in some cases, you'll be opening a relic, right? So you'll use the relic, and you'll go to a mission that opens the relic so that you can get the weapon part inside. And when the host migrates, the game will have registered that you opened the relic, but not registered that you got the item, so you'll lose both. So you'll actually be worse than when you started. It'll
Wow.
be negative progress.
And for all the bump iterating that they do, they never made it a server
Dedicated
side
servers
thing.
cost money.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
Dedicated servers cost money.
They do. They really, really do.
It's one of those things.
Ah,
This is the worst case scenario, right? This doesn't this has only happened to me about 5 times
wow, someone said this
in
is why
in
I
the,
quit.
in a whole
Jesus.
bunch of Warframe time. This has happened to me about 5 times. People are pointing out, yes, it also resets all the enemy spawns, which means you can sometimes load back in and just instantly die.
Swindler of
Because,
progress. Yeah, okay.
um, but when that happens, game is done for the day. At least the day, right? Like, just fucking fuck this. I'm out.
Is there any other like pseudo MMO out there that doesn't use dedicated servers?
Um,
Because that sounds like a really, really bad combination. I'm surprised to hear about this. I didn't know that that was a thing.
Destiny does
Okay.
do that.
Okay.
But
Pseudo. Yeah. Okay.
Destiny does not have these issues. If an item drops into your inventory,
You pick it up
it's
and it
in your
saves.
inventory.
Yeah. Okay.
It's forever.
Oh man. Okay.
It's yeah, it sucks. Host migration is the bane of everyone's existence.
Please wait.
Don't do it. Just don't. Just don't. Just don't.